So, as I've mentioned on this channel recently, many of you probably know the past 2 months I've been on a sort of solo retreat where I've been limited to certain foods, very plain foods, no salt, no seasoning, limited social contact, not really hugging people, fist bumps instead of handshakes, just not really being out and about. I've still been working and doing things and even going to coffee shops and working and drinking chamomile tea because that's what I was limited to. But for most other intents and purposes, I was essentially in isolation and on retreat. No media, minimal media, I should say. I did occasionally watch, 20, 30 minutes of something light, but no heavy media, no video games, minimal YouTube, minimal media in general. Pretty much no social media, no dating, obviously, with a no contact. And I just finished that retreat this past weekend, which, yeah, I just, overall, the whole experience was amazing. I feel great right now. And I wanted to share some of my insights that I've had over the past 2 months. Some of them, most of them, I'd say, are general, where they can be applied to anyone. And I think that's going to be one of the main values of this video. But also, I have some that are more personal to me and the direction my life is going in, or the direction that I want to take it in, which is there is some, I'm not sure what the word would be there. There is a lot of uncertainty as to my direction in life. But yeah, without further ado, I'm just going to go right into it. The first insight that I want to share is to feel your feelings. A lot of what we do, I think, and I've noticed in myself, is we do certain things to avoid feeling. Let me give you an example. So, past couple days, I've had insights about work that I want to do in my life. I guess the difficulty for me is now I have more options of what I want to do, and the options are very different from each other. So, particularly, I had the insights recently that I think I want to do work with people. I want to do people work, one on one, group sessions, whatever that may be, whether that's coaching or some sort of therapy. That would mean I would have to go to school for therapy, this kind of stuff. But I also potentially have school coming up for business analytics, and I have my AI thing that I'm kind of building on the side. So quite a lot of different pieces moving in and out here. And my job with my dad is ending in mid-August. All of that kind of makes it difficult. There's a difficulty there, an uncertainty of my next steps, which is a difficult feeling to sit with. It's challenging to not know what you're going to do. That's my example. Particularly, I've noticed today and yesterday a lot of thinking, a lot of trying to plan and strategize because of how uncomfortable the feeling is. It feels like there's a limited timeline for me to decide something so that I can make money and support myself. But I also have a lot of options that I'm considering, and I want to make the decision that's best for me and my future. And I want to consider what I actually want in my future. A lot of thought, you can see. So what I've been doing the past couple of days is a lot of Googling, a lot of talking with AI, strategizing, thinking in my head, looking on LinkedIn for certain jobs, trying different, looking deeper, not deeply, but looking deeper into multiple routes. A lot of the times I've noticed stress come up, almost a sense of perfectionism in trying to determine the right path. This path's not going to work because XYZ, that path's not going to work because ABC. Yeah, and then all of that is an attempt to not feel the uncertainty, but actually causes more stress and avoids the uncertainty, but brings up more anxiety, if that makes sense. In this case, feeling your feelings means take a step back, look at what you have right in front of you and feel the uncertainty. What happens when you feel your feelings is actually you will gain insight as to what to do. We think we need to plan and configure logically our next steps, plans for specific things, but a lot of the time, what's in the way of knowing what to do is avoiding the feeling of not knowing what to do. You can only figure something out if you're in a position of not knowing. This is a very big theme topic by one of my favorite teachers, Peter Ralston. He has a series of books on the topic of not knowing and how not knowing is the root of knowing. It's going into a situation with the intention of learning, not of avoiding the sensation of difficulty of not knowing, and not going into a situation thinking you do know when actually you don't. The truth is, in reality, we never actually know pretty much anything. There might be one thing, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but generally speaking, we don't actually know anything. We don't make things up per se. I mean, there's reality around us that seems to be real. Like I can pick up this water jug right here and drink it. That seems pretty accurate. I think that's real enough. But we often, for example, go into social situations and label people before we have really spoken to them or gotten to know their background. That's an example of going into life with preconceived notions. If instead you were to go into those situations not knowing, actively understanding like, oh, I don't actually know these people, that will allow you to bypass any sort of judgment and actually get to know them better. That applies to everything in life. I'm not sure what circle I was going on there, but in my situation, there's a not knowing, and the key to navigating that is feeling the discomfort of not knowing. I've already gotten some insight today, just deciding to take a break from trying to figure things out. I've already pieced things together a lot more. I think maybe I'll talk about that as one of my next insights. So yeah, feel your feelings. Feeling your feelings is what gives you insight and knowledge or wisdom, long-term wisdom, but also wisdom of what's the next step. Feel your feelings. When you notice you're in your head trying to strategize or trying to take certain actions, like certain distractions, like drinking or smoking or sex, anything that's kind of taking you away. Eating is a big one for me. Eating. Anything that's to take you away from the discomfort at hand. Sometimes we need those things. The sensations can be overwhelming, but I would invite you to just take a second, see if you can feel what you're feeling, breathe, and then if you still need a distraction or want a distraction, that's fine. Try to not go into hardcore distractions like heroin or something simple like a light show or a snack, but then come back to the not knowing if you want to get through to real understanding of something. Yeah, so that's insight number one. I hope that made sense. I kind of was just blabbering on, and that's the first time I feel like I really spoke about it and tried to articulate it. The next insight is about intuition, and it's that intuition is king. At least I would say like data informed intuition, not just following your gut or going by a vibe, but looking at the situation in front of you with as much information as possible and using all of that info to inform your intuition. People often talk about gut feeling. I haven't really considered if there's a difference between gut feeling and intuition. I think they're quite similar at the very least, if not slightly different. But overall, I think gut feeling is the best way to put it. Intuition, though, it feeds on information, is what I've noticed. such as how much money would it take to do a master's degree in a certain topic. If you didn't know beforehand, it's kind of hard to base on your intuition, because what if it's $300,000? What if it's $10,000? That would change the field dramatically. But if you know specifically, and then you might know how much money you need to make, or how long it would take, or how much debt you would need, these are all very informative data points that will help you come to a decision. Ultimately, the point of this insight is intuition is stronger than logic. Logic is a way to understand data and to put things together, but ultimately, what I found is the most worthwhile decisions have come from following intuition, not from following what seems to make logically the most sense. You can logically explain anything. It depends on your goal. I mean, as a crude example, Hitler and the Nazis convinced many people to kill millions of people logically. There was logic in their reasonings. Now it's, from our perspective, the logic is flawed, but their perspective, it was not flawed. So you have to consider that in your case, it's not that your logic might be flawed, it's that your logic is based on your perspective. Logic can change perspective as well, but really what matters most is intuition, which is informed from logic. So consider your options basically with logic, and once you've fully considered them and have all the information that you need, how you're going to, what's the word I'm looking for? How you're going to navigate all of those options, intuition is the thing that will, in my experience, give you the best next step. And if you notice that certain decisions you're thinking about them a lot, and you're like going very deep in them and thinking and not feeling with your body, intuitively, that's probably a sign that it's not intuitively the right decision yet. Another example today, I was thinking about just jumping straight into traditional Chinese medicine school, which part-time would be at like a 5 to 8 year commitment and $100,000 in debt. And I'm thinking to myself, I have to do this because I want to do this eventually. And like, it's just too much thinking and not enough feeling. What is intuition is another question. I think that's something you need to practice with. It's hard for me to even articulate what it is. It's a felt sense of the right thing to do. You can practice this really easily with food, for instance. You can consider certain food options and see how you feel. How does your body resonate to that? You can then try to eat the food, and then after you eat it, you'll have a response. Oh, that was a mistake. Oh, that made me feel great. That felt great. That was nice. That will help you train your intuition, those kinds of decision makings. Everything really, I think, is worthwhile considering your intuitive reaction to it, and then seeing the result. How do you feel after, intuitively or just overall? Intuition is a very valuable skill. Intuition, especially over emotion as well, because you might be afraid to do things, but intuitively they're the right thing. Obviously, that takes a level of strength to do certain things that are scary, even if they feel right. But that's a skill that you can develop over time. It's a strength you can develop over time. So yeah, that's 2 insights right there. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that's more generalized. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I have some personal insights. The main one being, I think I mentioned this earlier in this video, that I want to work with people. I want to do people work. I feel like I'm still playing with this. I'm not 100% sure, but I just had this insight near the end of my retreat where I kind of saw myself as this person who's integrative in a whole bunch of, I don't want to call them healing modalities, but just understanding of people. with depth of emotion and depth of thinking, and just that's what I do every day. My main interest the past many years, which I've done throughout, is insight about human life, human consciousness, how to live my life, and all that sort of stuff, handling conflict, internal difficulty. So I had this insight near the end of my retreat where I kind of want to do that for money. Like, I kind of want to make that my full-time thing because I'm already doing it in my mind all the time anyway. I've noticed a lot of the resistance to the work that I do day to day is that it requires analytical thought to do a lot of the work that I do, but it also requires a lot of analytical thought to generate insight about people and about myself and about life. And those two are kind of conflicting. They don't really mesh together very well. I have to kind of crank my brain in the direction of doing work, which is very hard. And yeah, so I'm complaining here a little bit, just shut the fuck up and work. Yeah, I understand that. And I might need to do that for a while. But I think ultimately I want to just let my mind think about people and working with people and helping people. I think some of the best geniuses in their fields, they naturally think about their fields. Like Einstein naturally thought about scientific physics problems all day long. He took up a job at a post office, I think, so that he could just think about science, like a brain dead job, basically, so he can think about science. I think naturally I am people oriented in that way. And I want to try and figure out ways to make money doing that, working with people in some capacity in a way that's flexible and allows me to like go on retreats and maybe even travel. The things that I've had in mind today, no conclusions yet, but some sort of coaching. Maybe people who are watching these videos could be potential clients, or maybe people that I go to on retreats with could be clients. Maybe some sort of like integration from life changes. I have no idea. I haven't really been super successful in life, so I wouldn't be coaching on succeeding in business or relationships, but more of like a guy you talk to, a friend who is can help you think clearly and see your perspective. I don't even know. I used to cringe at this kind of stuff, working with people, therapy and coaching. But, got to make money. And I think people can use the help that I can provide. There's also body work, somatic therapy and Hakomi are two modes of therapy I'd consider being a practitioner in. Just some ideas. Also continuing to make these videos. Maybe I focus just on these talking videos and don't do AI videos anymore. Don't do video game videos or guitar videos. I'm not really sure. I just really don't know. But I think I really like to work with people. That being said, that likely means not a great income. It might mean several years of multiple different jobs and certainly a lot of discomfort and uncertainty. Quite a challenge to figure all that out, and I'm not sure how I would do it, but I think that could be quite nice for me. There was another insight I had while I was talking about that. I don't quite remember what it was. I want to share it before this video ends. Oh yeah, okay, so the insight about the analytical mind and how your analytical mind has a limited amount of resources. So it's not like you can use your analytical mind for multiple different things and expect to have high level results on each of those things. A mentor of mine, I'm not sure it's analytical mind that I would call it, but anyway, he runs business and runs retreats, and he has told me for a long time now that it's very difficult for him to switch from one to the other. It's like cranking his mind in one direction or another, from the intuitive mind to the analytical, like business mind. And that really clicked for me the past couple of days near the end of this retreat, where I kind of got that sense too, like, oh, all this work I've been doing with AI stuff doesn't really align with the retreat stuff. It's two different things. They can supplement each other, but they're not aligned. They're not integrated. They're like two different directions. And there could be some work here and some work here, but ultimately, I think the best sort of the best overall results, or the most capability, comes from choosing one of those things as the main thing. Not that you can't do the other one, but because retreats can supplement business, and business can supplement your desire to go to retreats, but half and half, it's just, it doesn't really work very easily. So that's part of why I kind of want to try and align my life more into like this one thing. But yeah, that's the video. I feel like I could have explained a lot of that better, but that's how it came out. And yeah, I was going to make a video yesterday, as I said, but I just didn't. I was busy with something else, so apologies. Hopefully I'm back to making videos every day from here on out, or at least, every weekday. And I'm kind of out of practice with the speaking, so hopefully as I make more videos, I'll get back into more fluid style discussions. Or maybe I'm just tired. It's 10 and I can't be bothered to be thinking straight right now. So that's it. Thanks for watching.